So yeah, that was rough. That was pretty bad. Yeah, the Bears lost to the Lions by a dillion. I haven't lost all hope yet. I'm a Bears fan. I have been for over 20 years. I'm used to the pain, okay? We'll get through this. Some takeaways. Caleb, even though he threw an interception, which isn't normally like him, he did look a little better. So I think he is developing, you know? And also it does help that he wasn't playing against Brian Flores defense, so there's that. And, you know, for going off Ben Johnson's word, he did say September would probably suck. Not exact words. He said the Bears won't be a finished product in September. And that is quite evident, very obvious there, Ben. The penalties are still bad, but, you know, I think we're like the anti-Chiefs. The Chiefs get every call in their favor. We get every call against us, even fake calls and just things that are wrong, like Isaac Tesla's catch that was inbounds. Why would they call that out of what? What are they smoking? The McCaskies should sue the officials. Like, I'm not accusing anyone of anything, but, you know, we might look into this guy's entire family's accounts for things like FanDuel and other gambling apps. You know what I mean? Just make sure this guy isn't, you know, doing some backdoor deal on some app. Because that is ridiculous. What are we doing? There's no logical explanation of, oopsie, got it wrong. That's how bad it was. What are we doing? Jalen Johnson re-aggravated his sprain. Honestly, I'm going to say this. Even if he feels good next week, sit him another week or two, in my opinion. Make sure he's fully healed before he's back. Because we need him bad. And I don't want him to, like, really fuck himself up for the future. Other than that, I think Caleb's interception could have not happened. That would have been nice. And the way you make such a thing not happen is tell him that it's okay. It's not a crime against humanity. It's, you know, it doesn't violate the Geneva Conventions to throw the ball to a tight end. You drafted Colston Loveland 10th overall. He is a very talented tight end. You have Cole Kmet, who is an extremely talented tight end, one of the best blocking tight ends, and insane drop rate. He doesn't drop the ball if he gets a good hit, you know? Like if he's actually passed the ball in a manner that isn't dog shit. He will catch the ball and he will keep the ball. Why are we not giving these guys the ball? If the policy is no block, no rock, then why in the world is Cole Kmet not getting the ball? I watched him pancake people in the Vikings game, and he gets one target against the Lions. What are we doing? I don't know if that's on the Ben Johnson side of it or the Caleb Williams side of it, but you got to get those tight ends incorporated. Sometimes you need to take those chunks out, and Cole Kmet, he can truck a motherfucker. Give him the ball. Trust your tight ends. Please trust your tight ends. They will help you. That's what they're there for. They are your safety blanket. Even if they're the last read, if you can't get a clear shot to a wide receiver, like if you watch the play develop and you try to extend it and your wide receivers still aren't open, but you got an open tight end, give it to the tight end. Please. Don't just pitch it off to DeAndre Swift. Give it to a tight end. Please. The defense looks like an Instagram model's ass, you know what I mean? Jalen Johnson, re-injured. I already went over that. We need a cornerback too, Tyreek Stevenson. Not great. Put Nashawn Wright back out there. If we had Jalen Johnson, Nashawn Wright, I think that's a much better secondary. But we need an edge rusher. Bad. Like, really bad. And I don't think it's necessarily Dennis Allen's a terrible play caller. But maybe he's got dementia. I don't know. I'm not accusing him or anything of, having a neurodegenerative disorder. But this is not the Dennis Allen we used to know. But again, the number one thing at the moment is team discipline. Also, Cairo Santos pissed me off by kicking it out of bounds on the kickoff of the game. But the number one thing is discipline. The team needs to be disciplined. We can't be getting these penalties. We can't be giving up hundreds of yards in penalties. And some of that falls on the refs, genuinely making awful calls for the Bears. It happens genuinely every year. We see it every year. Nothing changes in that department. But if we can minimize the ability to be accused of a penalty, I think that might help a little bit. We might only give them 89 yards in penalties. Right now, there's a lot of shots being fired at Ryan Poles right now, which I get. Yeah, the roster construction could be better, as we're seeing. Caleb's got weapons, but the defense doesn't have what it needs right now. Like, it's a little rough. And, yeah, we got injuries. And are any of our second-rounders from last year playing? Like, does anyone know? Honestly, at this point, we have such a stacked wide receiver room that I'll say this with my whole chest. I don't want DJ Moore to waste his career here. He is a great receiver, and there's a ton of teams that would love to have a DJ Moore. But, like, he's great. Love him, but we don't need him. You know what I mean? Because we have DJ Moore. We have Rome. Those are the two guys that are arguably wide receiver one. And then you have Omelad Zacchaeus. He's pretty good. And then Luther Burton doesn't get snaps except on a kick return, I guess. But he's not even the kick returner. That's Duvernay. And then we have Jade Walker. We have like 8 wide receivers. I can't remember all of them, but we have a ton. And yeah, you should have a lot. But if there's any reality where we could trade DJ Moore for an edge rusher or an elite defender, maybe a corner, then, maybe we should make that trade. I know. It feels wrong to say. I like DJ Moore a lot. But if we can get an elite pass rusher, that might be worth it. Or like a haul of picks. But at this point, after the past few years, I don't know if DJ Moore's getting a haul of picks. You know what I mean? And I think not today. I'm recording this the next day. What am I talking about? The Lions game really exposed a lot of our holes in our team. Cornerback, edge rush, left tackle, kicker. There's more. But for the crowd that was extremely I'm upset that the Packers got Micah. That upsets me a lot. But for the people that wanted us to sell our future to get Micah Parsons, I just want you to sit down and think about this. The only defensive player we have that may have been compensation for Micah to the Cowboys is probably Jalen Johnson. I don't feel like I'm comfortable trading 2 first-round picks and Jalen Johnson for Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is great. And he makes average and below-average corners look a lot better than they really are. But Jalen Johnson's a great corner with bad edge rushers. You know what I mean? Like, he's fine. I would love to keep Jalen Johnson. But selling the future and JJ for Micah when we aren't close to a complete roster, that's ridiculous. That's the only way to put it. I really wish we were able to get Khalil Mack. You know, that's like my number one thing. I wish we got Khalil Mack in the offseason, but it is what it is. It's happened. You know, maybe DJ Moore for Max Crosby, you know? Maybe. Probably not. Yeah, that's just kind of where I am. This was an embarrassing loss, but look at the Lions' record when Ben Johnson became their offensive coordinator. It was awful. It is a very complex offense that takes a lot of training to learn. We just have to hope that the process is going smoothly. This isn't the year. You know, I came into the season like, oh yeah, we're a playoff team. Probably lose first round of the playoffs, but we're a playoff team. We're not a playoff team. We're probably getting a top 10 pick. Whether we keep that pick or trade it to someone else, we'll have to see. But, you know, it is what it is. Tough loss. Really, frankly, embarrassing. This is the first time the Bears have had 50 dropped on them since 2014. So this might be the worst defensive unit we have fielded pretty much in my life. So there's that. Yeah. I don't even know what to say anymore. But yeah. Let's make some moves, I guess. If we're going to rebuild this team, it will take a minute. But, you know, that's the thing about a rebuild. And we've been in a rebuild for like 3 years at this point. We just got the coach for it, which is usually the start of the rebuild. So, yippee! Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Just keep holding on. Things will be okay, I guess. The Cubs are probably going to the playoffs. So, if you're a Cubs fan, that's pretty cool. Blackhawks hockey starts soon. That's a thing. So, yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.